So you want to lose 50 pounds. Great. In this video, I'm going to break down how you can lose 50 pounds or more in 2 simple steps. All right. So if you guys are new to the channel, welcome. I'm Jose Gonzalez, the Keto Master Chef. And since adopting a ketogenic lifestyle, after struggling with being unhealthy, being morbidly obese, being diabetic, okay, for over 20 years of my life, I not only completely fixed my health and reversed all of those medical conditions, but I lost 100 pounds in 5 months. So I think I'm pretty qualified to talk on this topic. Now, let's get right into it. I'm going to teach you how you can lose 50 pounds in just 2 simple steps. Okay. Now, as a caveat, as a disclaimer to this, I have to address this issue. Before you implement these 2 steps, there's 2 things that you need to consider. All right. The first is, before you go on this journey, right? Perhaps you've tried to lose weight before, you struggled, right? But one thing that I want you to be aware of is your hormonal balance, the conditions of your body from a hormonal state. So I would advise that you consult with a doctor, get some labs, because if you have any type of thyroid issues or adrenal issues, you're going to want to get those things fixed first. And I'm sure that you probably have a doctor that you work with, but I'm going to recommend, if you don't have a doctor, the people that I would recommend that you work with is to go on dietdoctor.com, dietdoctor.com, and find a low carb doctor in your area, all right, which can help you with this situation. So the second thing that you want to be aware of, if you're someone that's trying to lose 50 pounds or more, is that if you're on any kind of medications, okay, you're going to want to research these medications, because most medications do cause, people to gain weight or prevent you from losing weight. So I would definitely recommend that you research any kind of medications that you may be on, if they're actually causing you to gain weight or preventing you from losing weight, and then working with your doctor on a plan for you to get healthy so that you can wean off and or completely get rid of those medications. And what I'm going to share with you right now, without knowing your specific situation, if you are on meds, is something that if you work with your doctor, will help you get off of meds quickly and permanently. So here's the 2 steps. The first step is adopt a low carb ketogenic diet right away. Okay. The reason for this is a lot of people don't understand how keto works. Okay. And if you haven't seen my video on keto myths, right, there's a lot of misconceptions, a lot of myths out there about the ketogenic diet. I'm going to link that down below. I'm also going to link down my video on how to get started, keto for beginners. So if you're curious as to how to get started on a low carb ketogenic lifestyle, I'm going to link that down in the description as well. But here's the thing. Keto is a low carb, healthy fat diet. Now you can do keto and get healthy using unhealthy fats. When I lost 100 pounds in 5 months, this is essentially what I was doing. I was doing what's called dirty keto, when I wasn't having the healthiest fats, and I still was able to lose 100 pounds in 5 months, following the principles that I'm sharing with you right here. Okay. So what happens is this: in the presence of sugar, carbs are sugar. In the presence of sugar, right, your body's in a glucose diet. So in the presence of sugar, glucose, carbs, whatever you want to call it, they're all the same thing, and fat, your body uses glucose, carbs, sugar for energy, and it converts the excess carbs, the excess sugar, into fat to be stored for energy for later. But when people do carbs do 3 things to your body. Take a note of this, okay? If you're not taking if you don't have a pen and paper, you might want to pause this video, grab a pen and paper, and take notes of this, because this information I'm going to share with you right now could be potentially life-changing. So carbs do 3 things, okay? Assuming you got your pen and paper, right? You're taking notes on your phone, whatever works for you. Number 1, they make you hungry all the time. This is why people that are on a carb, sugar, glucose diet have 3 to 4 meals a day, have snacks in between, and late at night find themselves binging and hungry and wanting just a little bit something because they feel hungry, they feel in the mood for a little snack. This is another reason why people oftentimes think that eating healthy is expensive. Okay, I put a video up as well called Cheap Keto, how you can lose weight, get healthy on a tight budget. Okay, there's a lot of people think that eating healthy is expensive because they equate the way that people eat on carbs when you're having breakfast, lunch, and dinner, probably a couple of snacks in between, or when you're on a quote unquote diet and you're having 4 to 5 quote unquote smaller meals. People on keto don't do this because when you're in a ketogenic diet, when you're in a ketogenic lifestyle, it's not even a diet, it's a lifestyle. You're fuller for longer, right? So you're hungry less frequently, and when you do eat, you stay fuller for longer. All right. So the first thing that carbs do is that they make you hungry all the time. If you're in a ketogenic diet, you will not be hungry all the time. Number two, the second thing that carbs do is that they reduce a hormone in your brain called leptin. Leptin lets your brain know that you're full, that you're satisfied, that you're satiated. And so you stop eating because you're full. Well, carbs reduce leptin in the brain. What does that mean? What it means is that when you add carbs to a meal, it it gives you the ability to eat a lot more than you would if you didn't have carbs. And I know that we've been taught that you need to eat your carbs so you can get full, so you don't feel hungry, but it's not true. Whoever taught you that was just misinformed. I'm not saying that they were lying to you. I'm not saying your mama was lying to you, your grandma was lying to you. I'm just saying that they were misinformed. Okay, this is why often people go to the Chinese buffet, or they have a big bowl of pasta, or some rice and beans or whatever. All right, and they're able to eat a lot more. Than after they're done, they're like busting at the seams. They can barely breathe, and they don't understand how they ate so much. They feel like they want to die, and this is because you had carbs with your meal, right? So eliminate carbs, highly processed foods, sugar, right? This is the reason that restaurants give you bread. Okay, you think that restaurants are just generous. You think that they just want to greet you with something so to open up your appetite. No, they understand the scientific data that when you give someone bread before their meal, they're 80% more likely to order dessert, because even though their entree may fill them, they're still gonna feel as though they have space for a little bit more, especially something sweet to end that meal. So first they give you free carbs that are cheap, and then at the end they sell you dessert, which are cheap carbs that you pay for. Okay, so second thing that they do, they reduce leptin in the brain, which allows you to eat way more than you need to. And you compound that with the first one, which is you're hungry all the time. You're already setting yourself up for disaster. This is why you're 50 pounds overweight. Okay, if you're watching this video, you're 50 pounds overweight. Otherwise, you would have just not clicked on the thumbnail, not clicked on the video, and not been listening this long. Unless you want to help somebody, in which case I encourage you to watch this video further, learn what I'm teaching, and then share it with that person who you would like to help. Okay? Now, the third thing that carbs do is that they spike insulin. I started off this show by talking about get your hormones checked. Insulin is a fat storage hormone. Okay, insulin is one of the hormones that wreaks havoc on people's health, which causes diabetes, arthritis, hypertension, chronic kidney disease, PCOS, autoimmune disease, and on and on and on. All inflammatory diseases are caused by hyperinsulinemia, which means you have too much insulin. Okay, so carbs spike insulin. What do I mean by that? It means that sugar is toxic, right? There's two types of diabetes. There's type 1 diabetes, which means that your body does not produce insulin. So they have to give you insulin. Otherwise, you'll be dead in a couple of weeks. Type 2 diabetes means that it was caused by your diet. It was caused by too much insulin. It was caused by hyperinsulinemia. And so when you consume sugar, the body knows that it's toxic for you. That's why type 1 diabetics can die in just a few weeks if we don't give them insulin. And so the pancreas produces insulin, it goes into your blood, it pulls out that sugar from your red blood cells, and it converts it to fat to be stored later. That's why I said earlier, in the presence of carbs and fat in your diet, you're converting sugar, you're converting those carbs into fat, and you're storing the fat. That's why you're 50 pounds or more overweight. Okay, so keto will help you completely eliminate this problem, because by restricting and reducing your carb intake drastically, and now forcing your body to, instead of use carbs or sugar for energy, use fat for energy, this is going to allow you to go into a state of autophagy when your body is eating itself, when your body is consuming and using up those excess fat cells that you have been storing all this time. Okay, so tip number one, do keto. All right, and again, I'm going to link those videos down below on keto for beginners, cheap keto, and there was one more that I said, but it'll come to me. Okay. Oh, the keto myths. All right, I'm gonna link those 3 videos down below. Now, the second tip, and many people have heard of it. This is actually how I started before I got into keto, and this is one of the things that when I combined this with keto, I was already doing this and getting good results. But then when I combined this with keto, whoa, it was a whole game changer. This is how I lost 50 pounds in 5 months. And the second tip is intermittent fasting. Okay, intermittent fasting. What does that mean? It means that you reduce and restrict your eating window, the hours between your first meal of the day and your last meal of the day. You restrict that to no more than 8 hours. Now, most people sleep 8 hours. Okay, so this simply means that you're having your first meal 4 hours after you wake up and having your last meal 4 hours before you go to bed. Okay, and the smaller that you can make that window, the better. Why? Because when you're sleeping or when you're not eating or intaking calories, because you can't take liquid calories, when you're not eating or taking in calories, your body is fasting. What does that mean? Your amino acids are creating new cells. You're repairing damaged cells. You're using stored up energy, fat. Okay, you only store energy as fat. You're using stored up energy. Okay, and so your body is healing. Your body is eliminating inflammation, and you're on the way to losing weight. Okay, and burning fat, which is what we all want to do. However, once you eat again, you now break your fast. This is what breakfast means. So your first meal of the day, I don't care if it's at 9 a.m., 10 a.m., 1 p.m., 6 p.m., your first meal of the day is your breakfast because you are breaking your fast. Okay? So when you intermittent fast, number one, you want to make sure that your entire eating window, from the time that you break your fast, that you have your breakfast, your first meal of the day, to your last meal of the day, is no more than 8 hours. This way, you can give your body at least 16 hours of fasting and allow it to heal. Now, the beautiful thing about this is when you combine keto with intermittent fasting, it creates this synergy, this dynamic effect where neither of the two on their own are as powerful, even though you can lose weight and get healthy with either one. But when you combine them, their power becomes exponential. Because as I mentioned before, keto allows you to stay fuller longer and eat less frequently. So when people try to go on a diet and have smaller portions, they're starving all the time. It's virtually impossible to intermittent fast when you're having carbs because you're going to be hungry all the time. But when you go on a low carb ketogenic diet, you're fuller for longer, you're not hungry all the time, so it makes it easier to restrict your eating window. There's people that restrict their window to 6 hours, meaning that they're fasting for 18 hours, restrict their window to 4 hours, meaning that they have all of their meals, so they're fasting for 20 hours. There's even people that do OMAD, one meal a day. So they have one meal per day and they're fasting for 22 or 23 hours a day, maybe 23 and a half. How long does it take to eat, right? 30 minutes. Okay. So if you combine keto and intermittent fasting, you can definitely lose 50 pounds quickly and permanently. Okay. So I hope you guys found value in this video. Please, if you found this valuable, if you know someone who needs to get healthy, our brand is Keto Cooking with Love. And the reason that we're about love is because love hurts. If you're not willing to offend somebody, you may not love them, because when you love somebody, you tell them the truth. The people that love you will tell you the truth and risk offending you because they love you. We're not trying to be meanies or hurt anybody's feelings, but the people that love you will keep it real with you. That's why we're Keto Cooking with Love. So if there's someone that you love and you want to see them improve their health, listen, you can lead a horse to water. You know the rest of the story, right? I encourage you, I plead you, share this. Share this with as many people as possible. Share it on your social media. Share it through email. Share it through text. Share it in your groups, wherever, because this information can literally save a loved one's life. Okay? So I will see you guys in the next video. Until then, be amazing. Peace.